Hey y'all, happy Wednesday. On Wednesdays we do Work It Out Wednesday where we work out a practice question on the material we've been covering for the week, right? On yesterday I did a video on our non-clinical series for the professional topics. If you haven't had a moment, go check it out. But let's get into these practice questions. Question number 1 states, the nurse practitioner for a local cardiology practice is preparing to inform the office staff of a few upcoming changes. The nurse practitioner is preparing as she knows that her colleagues have difficulty with change. How should the nurse practitioner move forward with introducing the office staff to the upcoming changes? Is it A, wait until you feel as though it is a good time? B, explain to the office staff of the upcoming changes, why the changes are occurring, and ask for their input to contribute to the changes? C, implement the needed changes, or D, none of the above? All right, you guys, take a moment. Think through the question. Tell me what you got in the comments. So, as always, I tell you guys to read the stem of the question first to ensure that you are answering what the question is even asking you, right? So, the stem of the question states, how should the nurse practitioner move forward with introducing the office staff to the upcoming changes? Now, questions like these can seem very simple. And we're commonly, because by the time you reach the stage of a nurse practitioner, you have been in healthcare in some shape, form, or fashion. And so we get used to this therapeutic communication and leadership styles, etc. But under the professional topics and non-clinical content, leadership styles and adequate leadership is something that is big there. And understanding change and how to lead and introduce change is something major also. So I like to show you in a question format so you know how to gauge and think on these terms. But again, it may seem simple, but I put it out there because what may be simple to you might not be simple to somebody else, right? And some stuff that seems too simple, we trip up on. But anyway, so we're trying to see how the nurse practitioner should move forward with introducing the office staff to the upcoming changes. So wait until you feel as though it's a good time. That doesn't serve anybody. That's not adequate leadership, right? B, excuse me, explain to the office staff of the upcoming changes, why the changes are occurring, and ask for their input to contribute to the changes. Yeah, that sounds good. Go ahead and implement the needed changes. Although you can do that, you do have that choice. When you're dealing with and you're leading others, they're more apt to change and be more flexible and positively change when they are included, and not that just, hey, I'm just doing everything and I'm just implementing, changing, and I'm not considering anyone else. And that's with anything in life, right? So B would be the best answer, because what are you going to do? You know the changes need to be made, so you need to explain those upcoming changes to the staff. You need to explain why the changes are occurring, and then ask for their input so that they can contribute to the change as needed, right? All right. So when you're thinking of change, always inform, include, and implement. Okay. Next, the nurse practitioner is explaining to the nurse practitioner student about the State Nursing Practice Act. What shows the nurse practitioner's understanding? Is it a law that defines the responsibilities of the nurse and scope of practice, and it may vary by state? B, a system that assures that safe and competent nursing care is provided, and this may vary by state. C, a standard developed by the American Nurses Association that provides guidelines for nursing performance. Or D, a code of ethics for nurses on a state level. All right, take a moment, read through those, tell me what you think. All right, you guys, reading the stem of the question. It states what shows the nurse practitioner's understanding. So, remembering that the nurse practitioner is having a conversation with the nurse practitioner student about what the State Nursing Practice Act is. So, which one of these shows the accurate definition of that, right? And again, this is another one of those terms, professional topics. We know all of these agencies and laws and scopes, etc. but they overlap just enough that it can become confusing. So I like to put it in a question form so that you can slow down and see what I'm talking about to prepare yourself for boards. And a few of these are in my review book for your practice as well. But again, A says a law that defines the responsibility of the nurse and scope of practice, and it may vary by state. Is that the State Nursing Practice Act? Sounds good. Let's hold that. B, a system that assures that safe and competent nursing care is provided and may vary by state. That sounds good, but what is that? Because the Nurse Practicing Act is not assuring that the safe and competent nursing care is provided. That's the Board of Nursing, right? And so the State Board of Nursing, it may vary state by state, but the board is the one who is assuring the competency and safety of the nurses that are practicing in that state. And C, a standard developed by the American Nurses Association that provides guidelines for nursing performance. Now that does kind of sound like the Practice Act, but American Nurses Association, that's not the state level. So that is the standards, right? That's the standards of practice. So remembering how that's different, because the standards of practice, and you can hear me discuss that in the video from yesterday, but the standard of practice is what is for all of us, all of the nurses, as well as we know our State Practice Act is also, but again, it varies by state. And then D, a code of ethics for nurses on a state level. No, that's the nursing code of ethics, right? So A is the correct answer. The State Nursing Practice Act is simply a law that defines the responsibility of the nurses in our scope of practice, and it may vary by state slightly, right? So A is your best answer. All right, you guys, I hope that you found this helpful. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and be sure to share with whomever you may think that may find this helpful, beneficial, as well. But to make sure that you meet me back here. And tomorrow we'll be doing our final repetition of our studying terms so that you can retain it better. We're trying to strengthen that memory, that muscle memory, right? And that'll be the last one for this month. And as I was telling you guys on yesterday, next month we're going to be hitting practice questions all month. So typically where I'm giving you these videos with content, the next month we're going to just hit practice question on all of those days. Okay, so it won't just be on our work it out Wednesday. We're going to work it out all month long to kind of get you revved up, because we're entering the end of the year, and I really just want you to start gauging your mind and preparing to exceed on these goals. Some of you are nearing graduation, preparing for exams, preparing for boards. Some of you, this is just the end of the year goal for you. Whatever it is, let's get into it so that you can be successful. But you guys, meet me back here. Bye, y'all.